Hi, this is JD of Tied It All Together. Now, I know you're probably asking yourself, why is he facing the camera? This time of week, typically you hear my voice, followed by my hands popping into the screen, showing you a historical or one of my fusion ties. For the past 3 years, I've been producing a video a week. In that time, I've also written a knot book, a decorative fusion knots. Started fusionknots.com. We're growing a pretty steady forum there. We've got a Facebook page for tying it all together, and we've got over 1,000 people contributing to that. And then, of course, here on YouTube, we've got over 30,000 subscribers, which is it's amazing. Is what it is. I've just been overwhelmed by the support that Fusion Knots have received over the past 3 years, and I thank you for that. At the same time, I feel like you're part of our community. As I've said to others, if our community had a shape, it would be a circle. I just feel like I'm just one artist in a larger community, and I'm seeing other people like yourselves produce new ties, share those ties, teach others how to perform those ties. I'm also seeing people sell ties, which is awesome. Making a salary at this is great. I think it's super cool. And still others are inspired by the ties and just find sort of a weekly ritual around learning something new and sharing it with friends. On that note, I've received so many emails from so many different people who have shared their stories with me about what fusion knotting has done for them. Everything from just improving their self-esteem to bringing them out of depressions, where they started sharing art and creativity with family and friends, giving them gifts of bracelets, necklaces, baskets, things that we've created here. And that's pretty amazing, and I'm very, very, very glad to hear that. And I feel like it's just one more blessing that has come out of all this. At the same time, I think people are starting to get that knotting is no longer a finite field of study. I think that studying historical knots is important and definitely the foundation of what everyone should be acquiring before they sort of branch off. But ultimately, fusion knotting is about the future, and it's about creativity and expansive thinking, about tying without limitations. It's like painting paintings. You sort of paint a painting, you're inspired, you create something, and a few weeks later you are inspired and you create something new. And you just keep doing that, you keep moving forward like that as an art form. And I feel like you're all with me on that and moving forward in a similar way. And it's pretty cool. That said, in between the videos over the last 3 years and the knot book, I've also written a few novels. Second novel, Disturbingly Normal, came out in 2010, and then more recently, Park Days, coming out later this year. And on top of all of that, I have a day job. I work as a contractor. I talked a little bit about that in a video about 1.5 years ago, but the details are similar to what you might experience in your day-to-day life. I wake up at about 4:30. You may not wake up that early, but I'm a contractor, so I've got to be at the job site usually around 6, if not earlier. And my days are about 10 to 12 hours long. The ritual that I'm in on a regular schedule is I work my days, I get back home, check in with my fiance, Kristen, and have like a bowl of soup, and I get to work. Usually I'm practicing a tie that I've decided will be the video that week. That tie, I'll try to hone it so that my shooting is fairly skillful, and then I'll have to do a lot of reshoots. I also block out the shots that are going to go into the video. So I sketch out how I'm going to teach it, how I'm going to structure it, what the various blocks are going to be called. And from there, I basically plan for the weekend. Once Saturday rolls around, I typically shoot on that day, set up all my all my production equipment, to check my lighting, make sure everything works, make sure everything's clear. I actually did a video showing you the behind the scenes of that portion of the production process. I hope you found that interesting. And I hope you find it inspiring too. I did that not just to show you what I do, but I was trying to show you what you could do. Because a lot of you, again, are discovering your own ties, and I want you to share them with people. It's really important. If we're going to really grow as a community, we all need to share what we know. But the shooting for me takes about 4 to 5 hours, depending on the tie and the complexity of the tie. I usually rest a little bit after that. I probably mostly will do production on Sunday because I want to spend some time with my family too. So go out, have dinner, what have you, go for a walk, do the stuff you do on weekends. So I'll get back to it on Sunday. Usually before people wake up, I'll start working on it, and that can take another 4 to 5 hours post-production. The editing, the sound, adjustments just of the image itself, and then finally I post it on YouTube so that you all can see it. It's something I've gotten used to doing. It's a part of my life, but at the same time, it's been holding me back on a bigger project that I've been talking about in the forums, but not had a time during the week to really dig my teeth into it. And that is my volumes of Paracord Fusion Ties. These are books that summarize the whole paracord element of fusion ties. The first book focused, as you know, mostly on knots. There was a chapter on fusion ties, paracord ties. But it was a fairly modest one because, frankly, at the time that the book came out, that was pretty much the major those are the major ties that people were tying. I hadn't really dove into paracord tying when I produced that first book, but after its publication, I started toying around with paracord and started discovering everything that most of you are watching these days. And so the volumes will summarize a lot of that and more. I've got literally hundreds of ties I have not shown you, families of ties that are massively expansive. One of those families, the Endless Falls, for example, I've been sharing with you and showing you sort of the diverse types of ties that branch off of it, and the versatility of that particular knot family or tie family. I don't know how you want to phrase it, but it's ties like that I'll be showing. Stuff that's new and expansive and sort of not really been seen before. But I need time to get to it. And so that leads me to the subject of this video. And the reason why I'm facing the camera for the first time ever is to tell you that I'm no longer going to be doing, at least for a short period of time, weekly videos. My videos are going to be monthly, starting last week. So the next video that you will see, an instructional video, will be early November, and then December and so forth. This won't be a permanent change. I want to put the first volume of Paracord Fusion Ties out, and then while people are sort of reviewing my work, Kristen and I work really close together. She usually copy edits and checks my spelling and makes sure that everything is understandable. She even goes through every single tie and ties it. She's becoming one though. She might not be the best person to do this for this book, but she originally was kind of a novice tyer. But by practicing a lot of what I do, she's actually becoming quite an expert herself. But we'll find that person who doesn't know a thing about knots, and I go, oh really? Here you go. Please indulge me with this. And when that person, the person who has no background necessarily in knot tying, can create these ties, I feel like, okay, we're ready to go. And that's a big deal for me because I don't want people to think that fusion knotting is, oh, that's for the advanced knotters. It is a new language. There is a different dynamic to it, different techniques that you might not be familiar with, because we're talking about innovation here. We're talking about, the future of tying. And so it's going to be something new. But and at first that's a little scary, I understand, but over time I hope that becomes exciting. And you create all these cool things, baskets and cups and necklaces and bracelets and balls and all sorts of, interesting things that you would never thought you could do with cord or rope. That's really what fusion knotting is sort of about. And so to get to that, to express that, to teach that, to show that, to get the book completed, again, I'm backing off just a little bit for a little while. I want to say thank you all for hanging in there with me, for watching the weekly videos. It means a lot to me. And at heart, I'm just an artist. I'm just putting out my stuff, and like any other artist, some things stick and some things don't. I have some ties that have only gotten a little over 1,000 views, and I have other ties that are videos that are approaching 1 million views. And that's how it is. And for you out there who are struggling with your own ties, or maybe you have a video and you don't have a high view count, hang in there. I wish I could have created a snapshot of my early days when I was first doing this. I only had 100 or so people watch my videos, back in September 2008 when I started doing the Tying It All Together videos. It's a very, very small group of people who checked out my stuff. And early on, when I was branching away from historical ties, it went to almost zero at first. People are like, what is this? This isn't even a tie. This is some created thing. Fast forward 3 years, and now people are like, of course, this is awesome, we like new things. But in the early days, newness is scary. And so if you're creating something and you've got a new idea, hang in there, keep doing what you're doing, and believe in yourself. Because ultimately, you need that to keep marching on. And so, thank you for listening. My name is JD, Tying It All Together. Best to you.